Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of MOLEK-SYNTEZ. We're going to work on Piracetam today. I think that's how you would pronounce it. What is it by the way? Tropic? I mean, what the heck does that mean? Drugs, sure, may improve cognitive functions in healthy individuals. Huh. Particularly executive functions, memory, creativity, or motivation. So, I guess I don't really know of any, I'm sure there's something popular out there that uses this, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, this is kind of a weird shape, isn't it? Our first, it's not exactly our first cycle because we've been playing a lot with benzene and cyclohexane, but it's kind of the first one that we're supposed to make ourselves. Maybe interesting. I mean, not really. Well, actually that does seem like more of a challenge in a way because you can't ever have any two of these missing a bond at the same time. Any three. Because, well, any three is also overstating it a bit. But suppose, I wanted to bond these two together. That's fine. I'm just thinking, they're all so close and touching each other that if you have two of them that have open spaces, they bond to each other whether you like it or not. You can't just get them ready at the ends and then attach things to them as necessary. You have to explicitly say, okay, you two go now, you two, whatever. Okay, here we are. What do we make this out of? It's got 2 nitrogens and 1 oxygen. 2 oxygens. I was thinking that carbamide looked pretty good for that, but maybe not? It's got 6 carbons, which, from a really oblivious point of view, is well, just start with benzene and pull it apart. But boy, does that sound like work. So what else is there? CCCO is kind of an interesting starter kit, isn't it? Because we need 2 copies of that and 2 copies of ammonia. Whereas if we take a carbamide, we're left wanting 1 oxygen and 5 carbon and no good way to make them. And honestly, even the shape of acetone is not that far away from the shape that you want here, right? We could remove this carbon. No. Yes? Ugh. These are actually not rotationally... Yeah, they're rotationally similar. If you rotate this 120 degrees that way, you get the same shape as this. Right, so suppose that we took this and oriented the oxygen down here. If I remove this carbon, I've already got these in the right place. And then I just pop that carbon up here. Plus, this is an easy carbon to remove because it's got so much hydrogen already. I have an excess carbon. I have to shuffle around, but great. I wanted it anyway. And then if I take this whole thing and rotate it like this. No. I thought it would be the same shape as this, but I can't. I guess it is, right? This is the same shape. So I'm moving the carbon over there, which is the same one I was removing in the other case. Okay. So we kind of want to make two copies of this, but peel this carbon off, right? And attach them to each other with a nitrogen bridge. And then it's still a little fuzzy how to get the excess two carbons up here and have them bonded properly. You can't even push them over as a unit because they would double bond to each other. No, you could push them up as a unit having 3 hydrogens each and then remove 1 hydrogen from each of them when you're ready for them to bond. Interesting. So that's kind of like my draft of the idea is start with something like how about you do it over here though, so you can pull, because we discovered pulling is kind of better. And honestly, just remove it now? Wait a minute. I hit escape because I don't know why. Because I'm thinking like at some point this other molecule is going to spawn in, right? And there's a carbon just lying here exactly where I want it. Isn't that kind of cool? But how do I get them to bond properly, right? Even if I, like... The obvious first thought is, like, I'll shunt some hydrogen from this one that's over full into this one. That separates it from here, great. But now, like, I can't really reach it to remove the hydrogen to make them rebond. So I guess there has to be someone down here pushing them, I guess. But okay, let's attach number 5 here to, like, honestly, could we just do this? Order's wrong, huh? I still don't really understand how the ordering works in this game. No, it's just that, like, all incoming hydrogens, I think, are resolved. This should be like an impossible outcome, shouldn't it? Both of those things happened at the same time. We pulled it like they were connected, but we also added a hydrogen. Very weird. Anyway, we'll just do it like this then. Why is he removing already? Shouldn't he be doing more like this? Okay, we gotta keep pulling that away, right? There we go. So now these two are, like, you know, they're kind of close to being positioned correctly, right? And let's have this one, well, I kind of want... to, like, pull this a couple times. guess more than a couple. Something like that. Yeah, now it's in place. If we just put a nitrogen here, then everything is like lined up properly, right? It's a little hard to get nitrogens in the right place, I think. Maybe what I need to do is put my ammonia oh my gosh, I've lost track of where everything was. Is this the right place? Yeah. Put the nitrogen precursor here with a polar over here and another one over here. So this is on the long diagonal, right? So 2 is actually already in place. And at this step, 2 can pull up. I lost track. Was this the right step? Yeah. And we can have the guy over here pull right after that. I don't know, 3 times is it? Two times. Two can pull again to grab the next. No, gotta wait. Probably actually I think we are ready to remove the hydrogen, right? Pretty good. Yeah? We need to be careful how we, line everything else up over here. Right? We can't touch both of these at the same time. In fact, 2 can do a sort of useful job if he starts here. At this stage, just remove a hydrogen would be useful. And then go back to the spot you were in before. And so now... Right. The way we're set up right now, this carbon is going to be the next one to bond, like with the stuff over here. If we wanted it the other way around, we'd have to put 2 here and 3 here. But 2 and 2 is no good, because they would bond to each other a second time. So I think at this point, then 6 should probably push, and that'll get them like kind of at the right vertical alignment. As soon as they bonded together, which is now, 6 can start pushing. Just push once, right? It's fine. Jeez. There's just like all these actuators are doing things at different times, and I don't know. I would love for one to be available to start pushing way sooner, but he's super busy. So I could probably speed things up by adding one more actuator here to just start pushing this over. And, you know, it would be convenient to... Here's a thought. It's going to be tough to reach into this nitrogen and remove hydrogens from it, isn't it? Once we've pulled all this stuff into place. And we kind of declared that this would be the next thing to bond, not this. So removing... Pushing this into place can't make this bond if we... So I think we have to change our mind and have this be the one that's deficient in hydrogens. While this one is fully saturated. Oh wait, we never bonded... Yeah, these two are supposed to be bonded together right now. So that's something little we can do is... 5 at some stage needs to move right by 1. And starting now would be a good time for 2 and 5 to both remove a hydrogen, I think, is just totally fine. Did I do it way too soon? I did. Maybe something like that. There. So I think I actually do have to bond with this nitrogen early, because it's going to be really hard to do it late. There's very few ways to get to that, right? So I think I'll have 2 remove another hydrogen immediately from it. And we'll just have to sort this stuff out differently. This shunt that 6 is doing is like kind of dumb and doesn't really help me. So let's just remove 1 and not shunt. And meanwhile 2, who's lying around not doing anything anyway, can just add 1. And it'll be fine, right? I don't know. I guess like that, isn't that the same? Yeah, 6 shunts 1, that's totally fine. And we just need 2 to remove 1 once that's all gone out of the way, which is like here. So that's totally fine. I guess all I did was just not... I'm not totally sure. Oh, 2 needs to remove another so that this is the end that's available for bonding, right? Does he ever have a chance to do that? First of all, what would happen if he did it here? Nothing good, right? It would probably just rebond to this. No, we actually get away with it this time. I don't know why. So in the meantime, someone like number 3 should be over here. And when do you start pushing? Now? Oh, he got in the way. Crossfire. Actually, he didn't. Well, yeah, he probably did, right? Yeah. Because we need to pull on this this nitrogen first, so... Here is when you kind of can't push for a little while. So let's delay these by 2 or something-ish. Yeah. But now you're in the way of all this. You still have to wait. So maybe 1 actually would be totally fine at this, right? There's just a lot going on here anyway, and wait, why did these... Before I had these bonding together, and now they're not. What did I do wrong? Oh, I removed this too soon? How did I change that? I mean, it's just obvious that that's never going to work. You can't have 5 remove this so soon, right? Only now. I must have put it in 5 when I meant to put it somewhere else, like 2 or something, right? Well, 2 shouldn't be doing it at this stage either, so I'm not sure. Anyway, right now, 1, 2, and 5 are all doing stuff, which is great. This cycle, only 2 should do it. That's great. And then 2 again. Yeah, and in the meantime, we might as well move 1 up here. He's only going to be missing by a tiny bit compared to if we had, like, someone else do it. And I guess a 3rd push gets it in place. Good thing, because there's not really... there's now another dang molecule in the way, right? What still needs to change? I think it's just bonding these 2, but is there anything I'm missing? I don't see anything. So I suppose 4 could get into place to work on that pretty conveniently. And there's no ordering dependency between these 2. They just both have to happen. 4 and 2 could do them at the same time, in fact, which would be kind of nice. And it does indeed start right after all this stuff. So it's pretty simple. We just have 4 move here. 2 moves, I think, here. Only had to move by 1, right? Yeah. And they both remove a hydrogen at the same time. Here. And to get them back to the positions they started from, we could drag things out down here, but we can make equivalent use of the space at the beginning to keep our cycle length down by having them start in these positions and use their early cycles to get to the positions they were at earlier. So something like that. And I think we wanted 4 just 1 cycle over, which means it needs to start with a left. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, this all has to happen after the last move, not at the same time. Now everything's in place. Bond it all together. And what do you got? You got some Piracetam. That's what you got. And while they... No, I guess we just need someone else to submit them here. Who's looking at them at the moment? Or at this giant mega molecule? 5 can do it. Who cares, right? I think I forgot to get 1 back into its place. Yeah, it moved left but never moved right. What happened here? These two never bonded. Did I not get everyone back into place? Is there someone? Yeah, 5 is also off. He needs to go left at some point. Okay, that looks good, right? Everyone is now actually... actually aligned properly. Yes, it's like a beautiful machine. Look at that. And only 2 precursors. Right? Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, top 10th percentile again, but not top percentile. Well, that's not a huge surprise. And abysmal on everything else. Pretty standard stuff for me, apparently. No new plot. Solve 1 more. So they give you a little bit of room to like skip things, but still get to the later molecules. I don't know. Let's have a look at Dimercaprol. Just, it's so small. How hard could it be, right? We could do it this episode. What does Dimercaprol do? It's a chelating agent. We looked that up. I've already forgotten how to pronounce it. Chelating? Chelating, I think. Something to do with blood, I think. No, with bonding to water, maybe? I don't remember. Anyway, this has some sulfur, which I guess is complicated. 2 sulfurs. Wow. That's why this is hard. Is that you have to dispose of 7 oxygen to make it. I guess. I mean, is that so bad, though? Wow, sulfur wants 6 bonds, huh? I guess it must be pretty far over to the left on the periodic table. I'm pretty sure that I'm remembering right how that works, right? The stuff... on the left has like 1... Oh, actually, maybe it's on the... I don't know, guys. I'm definitely not a chemist. Okay, whatever. Well, let's make some sulfuric acid. Right, that's a good start. And then we just have to like pour 6 hydrogens in there, which like we can parallelize that, right? Oh, I don't know. Is this really the right way to do it? Would it be better? Because like we don't want the sulfur. We'll have to then remove all of these. I was just thinking this is nice and clean because it separates everything that we care about all at once. Um, it could be simpler to add it to the oxygens instead, and then the sulfur only needs one added to it. I have no compelling arguments either way. I mean, one advantage of doing it this way is that you only need one delete to delete two oxygens that have paired to each other, right? Instead of two. But you do have an awful lot of hydrogen lying around that kind of stinks to clean up. I can't believe I've never tried this. What happens if you put more hydrogen than is permitted into something? It just doesn't go. It disappears, I guess. Right? And if I remove it, there's none there. Yeah, so it's not like they're just lying around waiting to be visible. They're just really not there. Interesting. I mean, if we wanted to be really module economical, we could do better than this. This is easy enough to do with a single module. Right? Like, okay, I don't know if this is really such a great plan, but I do want to see how it turns out. So now, like, we're pointing at another part of the molecule, right? And we could just, like, scoot over, but it's kind of inconvenient. So what if instead we, at this stage, like, rotated the thing a bit? Right? Right, like this would be, oops. I think I got these mixed up. So there's clearly some issues with this. I see. We would need another rotation here. The biggest one being that we've used up more than half the time and only produced a single sulfur. But, you know, we did it with a single actuator and it didn't even have to move. That's kind of cool. Compared to how much more quickly we could do things, you know, I don't think it's really the best play. But it's kind of neat to think about. I don't know. I'm kind of actually starting to think that it's better to do things like peeling off the oxygens instead of blowing up the sulfur. And I wish I could copy because I want 5 to do exactly the same thing. There you go. Now we have some sulfur. Also, like, this sulfur must be very unhappy. Right? It wants 6 bonds, and we're only giving it 1 hydrogen and 1 bond to a carbon? Seems messed up. But okay, whatever. So the other thing we need is we need some carbon and some oxygen. Acetone has exactly the number of atoms of each kind that we want. They're not positioned correctly, but it takes a little while to prepare 2 sulfurs, and we should have time in that time to move the oxygen in this acetone, right? What needs to be done here is... What is the simplest approach to doing what needs to be done? It's actually not so simple, I think. Because once you remove this oxygen, the carbon wants to bond with something. And if we remove any hydrogen from either of these carbons, they'll bond with the carbon in the middle, which is not great. So I kind of think we should put 2 hydrogens into this carbon temporarily so we can ship it around in a kind of neutral state. So kind of make these 2 debond from each other in a relatively natural way, I think. Like this. Now everything is still neutral. You can ship it around without worrying that it'll attach to stuff. I'm building this upside down, which is a little bit confusing. I guess why would I do it that way, right? Build it over here. Now it's in the right orientation to somewhat easily. I don't know. Like get the sulfurs to where they belong, kind of. I can sort of rotate this. Well, in this shape, where do I want... let's put the oxygen in place while the sulfur is sort of fermenting. Which I mean, can I like scoot this over a bit more, I guess, and then I think like have 1 and 5 both push at the same time, and like some 1 and 6 both push at the same time twice. Why did that not do something good? Ah, because now they're pointing at the same... They're both pointing here, right? 6 pushing no longer pushes the rest of this. I was thinking this would be a cool way to avoid, like, the natural approach would be to pull the oxygen this way and then push it that way or something, right? But that's sort of hard to do. So instead, what I think I'll do is have 5, 6, pull here. And one don't do anything. And then pull here. Ugh. Now they're lined up, right? They can't both push at the same time, but they can kind of pull in opposite dimensions and everything like miraculously lines up. Kind of cool, right? I think so. And we can glue these two together pretty simply. And we're sort of burning daylight here. We'd like someone to be taking away this sulfur so that we can get started on making some more. And it seems like a good job for another actuator, I think. I want to just copy what these guys are doing here. Okay, now it's out of the way and we can like... Well, I guess we better keep it moving so it doesn't bond to the new stuff, huh? But like this is enough to accomplish that. And now we can try to attach it to the rest whenever it's convenient. One thing that seems sort of like a useful start is to rotate this a bit. Because it kind of wants to be like here, doesn't it? So... if like one pushed while three pulled at this stage. Now they're all lined up and just have three remove a hydrogen like so. While I guess one rotates back, maybe? No, we have to wait for the bonding to happen. Yeah, see, it's oriented, right? Wait, what? When did we end up uncovering the, I see. We uncovered this other thing, which is a bit awkward, isn't it? Actually, maybe it's not so bad. Don't rotate it back. Rotate it even further into that direction, right? Because the next one wants to go, like, attached to here. So one could, like, remove the hydrogen from that last carbon that we want to attach to. And then it's sort of... pretty well positioned, I think. Right, like... who should be the one to rotate it? Two is kind of in a good position to rotate it, I guess. This is when we want the rotation to happen, though. I guess one could rotate it from here. The thing is, I kind of want one to spend this turn on removing that excess hydrogen. And if I do that, that wastes a turn. I guess that's fine. Oh, yeah. Right, I kind of I have to have that happen, because otherwise, yeah, okay. So now, one can rotate it. Left, I guess? Then give it a push, and like 2 can start pulling it or something? Maybe 3 should be pushing it while 2 pushes the sulfur into place. 2 can't really push the sulfur anyway, right? Yeah. Alright, so first thing to note is actually we have a lot of space to spare. We didn't end up using the space in between these two much at all, so I could just put the sulfur closer to begin with, which is nice. But having done that, I think 3 should like not be doing these pulls. Whoa. Oh, he does have to pull once to get it detached from everything else. Yeah. So then don't do this pull. Oh, he has to pull it twice to get it away from all that. That's what we were using this space because we need this sulfur to not be near all the workshop kind of area, right? Okay. And I guess we need to add hydrogen to it at some point. Yeah. Kind of seems like it might be better if 3 rotated it, doesn't it? No, it's not really. I'm not sure why. If someone were pointed here and they rotated it, it would align properly, I think, but it would take 3 pushes to get into place. Now it takes 3 pushes, but like, they're different pushes. Actually, what if I rotate it again? Around like here? Not good. Not what I wanted at all. It's like, it's so awkward. And we can't even like have one push it before rotating happens right now, can we? I guess we could. If one pushes it, then like 3 and 2 can be responsible for rotating it. Something like that. Ugh. It goes way out of shape here. And if 2 does it? I don't know. It's like trial and error here, which is a little embarrassing. Even worse, it's so far away. Why is rotating so hard? Do I even need to rotate? There's a question. Why don't I just get the sulfur to here? It's kind of a little awkward to do that, isn't it? Because I have to make sure these sulfurs never come near each other or they'll just like cling together. And if 5 rotates? This does not seem correct, but it sure is interesting. Whoa! It's friggin' perfect! Alright, you can stop shouting at your screens. I figured it out. Okay, cool. So there you go. Problem solved. Problem not solved. Why? Incorrect product. Okay, please explain. Oh, yeah, it sure is. Wait, is it? Oh, the oxygen is on the wrong side. No. Oh, there's just not any hydrogen on the sulfur. You could have given me a more helpful message than incorrect product. I'm here like tilting my head, trying to see if the rotations are right, and like they look right to me. They are right. That's why. I'm pretty sure. I just need some hydrogen on this sulfur at like any convenient time. Like there we go. We almost made it without moving any actuators, but then 2 had to scoot over just a tiny bit. That's too bad. Not a big deal, obviously. I guess if we really wanted to, we could do it with no actuators, but it would take longer. 3 could throw a hydrogen on here and then shunt it into the sulfur. Doesn't seem that great an idea. Also, it might ruin our bonds with some other stuff, so yeah, definitely a bad idea. Okay, yep. Pretty standard stuff for me. Noises outside. Are they back again? The kids who stole my shipment? Oh, I should be angrier. The gun isn't far. I should get it. Yeah, okay. Very sinister stuff. We're all very impressed. Did I skip? Oh, I skipped pyrazinamide. Pyrazinamide? Pyrazinamide? I'm not sure about that. Because Dimercaprol looked easy. And it was an interesting little change. Anyway, that's 2 for the episode. Didn't think I'd be getting 2 in any episodes sort of this late in the game, so that's nice. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.